Hi, everyone. Thanks for having me. It's an honor to be here today and to speak with you all. Today I'll just share a little bit about myself and my story in some areas that I think or really believe that promote inclusion, whether that's within sport or beyond sport as well. So did kind of have like a little bit of a formal speech, but now that we have a small group, if anybody wants to interrupt and ask questions as we go, feel free. Otherwise we can go at the end. Go for it at the end. So anyway, I think it would kind of all started back in July of 2011 when we were flying back from the Women's World Cup in Germany. And unfortunately, we had lost the night before to Japan in penalty kicks of the final. But as usual, we're flying back and I'm sitting next to my best friend Megan Rapinoe on the plane, and we're talking not only about the heartbreaking loss, but also the success of the tournament. And just to give you a little bit of context about the success of that World Cup, prior to leaving for the World Cup, we played in a send-off match in New Jersey, which we only had about 5,000 fans in attendance, which to some people that might seem like a lot, but from the U.S. women's national team standpoint, it's like very bare bones in terms of attendance. And then since the World Cup, we've played in front of no fewer than 20,000 plus fans, and most of those stadiums being sold out. So you can kind of really feel the success. And a lot of our team, or the majority of our team, had become overnight celebrities. And my best friend Megan was no different. She had dyed her hair platinum blonde before the tournament, was one of the breakout stars with her spectacular play. And as we're chatting, I turned to her and I said, you know what, Meg, you really should come out. This is the perfect time. And yes, you are out to our teammates. Yes, you're out to your friends and family, but imagine the impact and the difference you can make if you come out publicly. And Meg looked at me and she was like, you know what, you're right, now is the time. And so Meg did come out, and then shortly after I did as well. And I think we sent like a really clear message that we are proud of who we are and that we wanted to play an active role in making not only sport, but society in general a safe and supportive place for the LGBTQ community. For me, coming out wasn't that difficult, even though I'm from Indiana, which one isn't considered a soccer hotbed, nor a state that's known for being very gay friendly. But my mom is gay, and so from a really young age, I had a role model that encouraged me to live an authentic life and to be proud of who I am, even if that wasn't the most popular decision all the time. And in addition to the support from my mom, it was the journey, my soccer journey to the highest level, that really taught me the importance of being able to be yourself and speaking out so that everyone can feel safe and supported. From these early lessons is what ignited my passion for advocacy. I knew that I had this special supportive environment, and I wanted to take those experiences and pay them forward to people that haven't been as fortunate as I am. So that's why I'm proud to be an ambassador for Athlete Ally, as is Blake here. And it's a wonderful organization that's dedicated to combating not only homophobia, but transphobia within sports and beyond. And now that I'm retired, I also run a gym in Washington, D.C., where we primarily train and coach young female athletes and women. And kind of a little bit of background of my story, I'm a huge proponent of strength training, especially for women, because not only was it a critical area that helped accelerate me getting to the highest level, but it also in keeping me injury-free and improving my athleticism. But it really gave me a sense of courage and confidence both on and off the field that I think is extremely important to getting to the highest level and to really pursue my goals and go after them. And so I get to witness on a daily basis what strength training can give to these young athletes and women every day when I train them in the gym. I do realize that my story is quite unique because not everybody does come from such a supportive environment. But that's why it's important to share, because I do feel like I've had the privilege of seeing and experiencing what is possible for our society. I'm sure there's many of us here that have experienced bullying or seen friends or family mistreated for who they are. And unfortunately, that is the reality of our society right now. But I don't feel like any of us would be sitting here if we didn't feel like that could potentially change, or that if we continue to promote, or our teams and organizations and communities promote respect and authenticity, and we can cultivate a shared sense of belonging and encourage and celebrate diversity, that they'll perform and they're better and perform better when we have these shared and common interests. And the best part about that is no matter where we are, we can promote those. Well, we can create these types of inclusive and safe environments, whether it's on teams or in our communities or societies. In the more recent years, there has been much progress when it comes to inclusion in sports, particularly, well, I have two great examples, I should say. One is in 2014 Sochi Olympics. Principle 6 was launched prior to the Games as a protest to Russia's anti-gay laws. And Principle 6 successfully pressured the International Olympic Committee to revise the non-discrimination principle in the Olympic Charter to include sexual orientation. And then more recently, in the last few months, Women in FIFA was formed, and that's by former Australian international soccer player Moya Dodd, who's heading that. And it's an advocacy for greater representation of women and increased resources for women in football. So there is a lot that's being done, but we still need to continue to work towards cultural change, whether that's within sport or beyond. And I do believe it is our collective responsibility to be advocates and activists and allies for all involved, but that does require us to take action. And I always like to use it requires us to get off the sidelines and get into the game. And I was just telling Blake a little bit earlier that playing on team sports, yeah, you do have a voice, but it's within that team. And this year that I have been retired, it's been more about finding my voice and speaking up about these issues. And I can honestly say, even though I'm retired and officially on the sidelines, I definitely feel more in the game today than I ever have. So, thank you.